We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of September 12th, 2022. Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, likewise. Motion carried to approve the minutes. Item number 2 is approval of September's treasury report.
I make a motion.
We have motion and support to approve the treasurer's report. Any discussion? All those in favor of the treasurer's report for September signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by aye. Motion carried to approve the treasurer's report. Items of business, item number 3, Shiawassee Community Foundation and Raise Up Shiawassee.
Can I, Mike, I'm gonna introduce my friend Kim Redwood, I'm gonna go to her and let her introduce herself and tell you why she's here, but I appreciate you having her on the agenda, and she's got some things to share that pertain to Shiawassee County and right here.
It. And the mission of the Shiawassee Community Foundation is to enrich lives in Shiawassee County through strong community relationships and good stewardship of our funds. And so being a community foundation, what we do, we have a board of 13. I am the executive director. I have 2 part-time staff members. That one is a youth advisory council program director, and she's my program manager also, and does all of my online posts and things like that. And then my other is part-time administrative assistant. Youth advisory council is a division of the community foundation, and what they do is their youth age 12 to 21 can be members, and they learn to give back to the community. So we have students from almost every school in the county that's part of our youth advisory council. They usually meet on Sunday afternoons, so it works out great for school. And they do fun activities too, like they're working the DeVries Nature Conservancy coming up for their fall fest. They help with face painting and pumpkin carving for that. They volunteer at Polar Express. They do a Christmas wishes where they do Christmas shopping for toys and coats for children. Through Capital Area Community Services, we get lists of the families and what they need. So things like that, that's what the Youth Advisory Council does. And we help coordinate those students and manage them. And it's a great program for them to be part of. So if anybody wants more information about that, let me know. We also have our website, shiacf.org, and it's on the brochure. So if you get a chance to go on our website, it explains the Youth Advisory Council, tells how many grants, scholarships we do. We have a newsletter we like to post out quarterly that shows what we're doing in the community. The Shiawassee Community Foundation abides by national standards, rules, and regulations. We have to get accredited every 3 years through that. We are audited every year as well also. And we abide by UPMIFA, which is the Uniform Prudent Management of Institutional Funds. Because all of our funds are combined together into one investment fund, and then we have a company that takes care of that for us, but we have a finance committee that keeps track of that. And unfortunately, lately, closely monitors our finances because things are going up and down quickly, as we know. On this sheet, I just wanted to show you a little bit about our asset growth. We started in 1974 with a little over $5 for community-minded people decided to open the community foundation and start it. And now we're, well, last year's fiscal year end, we were a little over $12 million. This year, not so, because of course, the funds have dropped and changed a little bit, but we're still hanging in there and still doing quite well compared to, other funds like that. Also, our asset allocation, we are very conservative when we invest. So we're 39% bonds, 30% large cap, 17 internationals, 8% small cap and 6% cash. We could only keep it. So they abide by those rules and regulations that the actually foundation board has set aside. And the finance committee reviews those annually as well. And the investment firm that we're working with right now is Stifel. They moved from Wells Fargo. We do an RFP every 3 years also and look at the investment firms. We administer 129 funds that we manage. 18 are agency funds, which means an agency fund is a fund that serves a nonprofit. So a nonprofit will collect money and save it up, and then they open a fund with us to keep them sustainable. Like we have a Red Cross fund, we have a fund that goes to respite, we have a fund for the Humane Society. So that fund is their specific fund, and annually all we do is cut the check and give it to them. But we manage it and take care of the funds for them. We have 14 field of interest funds, and anyone can open any fund, actually. You can open an agency fund for a nonprofit as well. A field of interest fund is a fund that would go towards any type of field, like anything for the benefit of animals, or parks and rec, or schools. Anything would be a field of interest fund that you could put together. It has to go, however, to a nonprofit or for a charitable purpose. So we're very particular about who we, grant out to. We have 93 scholarship funds. So please, if you know any juniors, seniors, encourage them to start finding out about the foundation's funds and how they can apply and get those scholarships. We have one application online. All they have to do is complete that application. It's a little process, but it's a program they can go in and out of. It's just started Saturday, October 1st. It ends January 31st. And that's a hard deadline. Students are calling us on the 30th and we're like, you've got a day to finish up. So that's great. Last year we gave a little over $157,000 out in scholarships. So it's a lot of money for students. Then we have 4 unrestricted funds. So the unrestricted funds, what they do is allow the board to look at community needs. And if something comes up where, there's a flood or someone's building something in the park, a special thing, we might decide, we need to invest in that. We need to build up that community. So the unrestricted fund allows the board to determine where some of the needs are and where they can get those funds. So, does anybody have any questions?
I have.
Yes.
So this youth advisory council,
Mhm.
that kind of interests me because we try to work up with the National Honor Society to get kids involved. So you're saying we could actually contact you and you would have other children from Shiawassee that might have the need to learn how to give back to the community.
Yes.
I would contact you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I wanted to know, do you have a relationship with the school counselor on those scholarships? Okay, so
Yep.
they know all about
And
those.
Scott, yep. And Mr. Chastel.
Yeah.
Yep, we work with him too. And Amy Jo Brown is my YAC coordinator. She's wonderful with the kids. And she's also my program manager. So she's set up meetings with all the different counselors and sometimes the principals or superintendents to talk about it. Yep, and they all know about the scholarships. They try to push them out in their, morning announcements and things like that too. And we send through our program, once the student applies and opens that application, we can send them reminders throughout, like Thanksgiving, we usually send them a reminder, hey, you know, you might want to start finishing your application, look at this. And then we send email reminders at Christmas, and then January, we start sending like every other week. Just to remind them, you've only got so many days, because there are some teacher recommendations and there's an essay they have to attach. So they can't wait till the last minute and then ask a teacher to write a recommendation. When we've had teachers calling them, get like 20, you know, over Christmas break, and we've got to get them done by end of January. So they're busy too, you know. Just a couple newer funds that we've got, the Kyla Raffelli Memorial Scholarship Fund. This gives you an idea. This was set up in memory of a young student from Owasso High School who was killed in a car accident, and it's for the trades. So we give scholarships for, other than just college, we will give scholarships to go into the trades or some other type of trade work that you're doing, as long as it's going to an accredited school that we can send to. All the checks are sent directly to the schools. Students don't get any money. And the letters that are directed to the schools are, tell them that if we don't use, they don't use all the money that semester, it can go the next semester, but then it has to be returned back if they don't finish the year. If for some reason they drop out halfway through the year, we'll get a check from the college and it goes back into that fund. Another fund that we just opened was the Bill Brooks Memorial Fund. Bill worked for the city of Owasso, died of cancer. He was an arborist. He was an MSU Master Gardener. Beautification of the city was his, you know, passion. So his wife opened this fund, and it's a grant fund, and it's for any beautifications of downtown. So any community can apply for these. So we encourage you to go on our site and look. Our grant, fall grant cycle just opened October 1st as well, and it closes November 15th. Then we have a winter cycle, and those funds are mainly, the winter cycle is for youth-related funds and grants. So anything youth-related, look at those. And then we have a spring cycle also that's got a few funds, but our fall one is the largest. And the Brooks Fund is was just given out this year for the first time. The rest of this is just some general information. Does anybody want a copy of the PowerPoint? It's got all the grant information.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any more questions? I've got my cards too. I'll leave with you.
I noticed that your administration costs are, I used to work in this arena quite a while ago. I was looking at your administration costs, and I know when I was working 20 years ago in this arena, that corporations or nonprofits can keep 51%. The government allows 51% of everything is taken in. So I look at your 1.5%, it's pretty basic compared to what people keep, because I know some charities keep 51% just to pay their people, and then the rest of it, they get shortchanged in the public. So
we do not. Our largest percentage is 2%, and that's on our scholarships, because those are the most work. Those take up probably 80% of our day, especially during scholarship time. Because every application, also we have to coordinate reviewers. If anyone's interested in reviewing scholarship applications, please let me know. It's all online, and we can hook you up. We give you access to the award spring. It's so beneficial for us and the students, because what you have to do is go in and score those for us. And then our board has an internal group of about 6 reviewers that does the final review on the applicant. We look at the top scores, and then they make the determination of all the funds and split them all up. And we abide by every fund agreement, and every scholarship fund, I can tell you, is totally different from the next. So you have to read each fund agreement and determine which student would be best for that scholarship. But it's so beneficial and important for the community to get those out. And 2% is our highest. 1.5% is for our other agency funds and things that we run. So, thank you.
Question, please.
Yeah.
Would there be funds available to use to upgrade pickleball and tennis courts in the park?
There is a Parks and Rec Fund, so that's interesting because I noticed Owasso's looking into that, doing pickleball also. Are you guys
Well, we
big
just had a
pickleball
letter from a group
players?
of people that
Yeah.
are playing pickleball.
And they said that it needed some help to upgrade the courts.
So the front of this booklet has all of the grants that are available. And then the back, after that, with just the list, those are all the scholarships. So the front ones with the photos, those are grants. So there is a grant, playground, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so then we could use that then to help with the.
The Woodard Fund also is for benefit family, youth, animal welfare, beautification, and our preservation projects. So, I mean, that could possibly qualify also, because sometimes you don't get a ton of applicants for these.
Okay. Thank you. Very
You're
good.
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
That's a lot
Does
of
anybody have any more
information.
questions? Anything?
I've seen
I'm gonna-
a letter.
I'll
I
give
don't
you-
have it.
Business cards.
I seen it there. And I just.
And then, lastly, a few minutes, I just want to talk about Raise Up Shiawassee, because this is the most important thing right now we've got going on. We're partnering with actually 28 nonprofits. It's 24 here, but those are the only ones collecting money or donations of volunteer time. But there's 28 total partners because the chamber's partnering with us, United Way, Cook Family Foundation, SCDP, along with these nonprofits. So what Raise Up Shiawassee is a National Giving Tuesday event. Giving Tuesday is always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. It's actually global too. It's in other countries. It's just a national day of giving and giving back. So Shiawassee County, we wanted to be a part of it 6 years ago. And one of the nonprofits came to us and said, you know, I heard about this program and Giving Tuesday, it sounded kind of interesting. So we looked into it and we're like, oh my gosh, yeah, we've got to do it. So we've coined ours Raise Up Shiawassee for our community to raise it up. And what we're doing is just asking for time, talents, or treasures of anyone to give back. We have a United Way site. They've coordinated with us that if you go into raiseupshiawassee.org, it will list all of these nonprofits that are participating with a little paragraph about what they're doing in the community. And then there's a donate or a volunteer button that you can click on. So after it opens, I think it's open now. I gotta check with Emily. It's opening in October. And it runs through the end of December. Giving Tuesdays, November 29th this year, but we always run it a little bit later for latecomers that want to go in and decide to donate. And what you can do is go in, or you can contact a nonprofit and tell them something you want to do. We're all about, we have a Raise Up Shiawassee site, also a Facebook site. So go in there and look and see all the good things that people are doing for nonprofits. We're trying to get youth involved to do small things like rake an elderly person's lawn, or go buy someone groceries, or, you know, go pick up something for them. So it's just a national day of giving. And so we encourage you to use these. Lisa will have more.
You know, the clothesline is one of the organizations, but we've been a part of this for the last several years,
yeah.
working with all these awesome, there are so many awesome nonprofits in our county. We are really blessed to have so many organizations. The clothesline's the only one here in Langsburg that's a part of this, but they are.
They look like the robotics.
Yeah, are the robotic agents?
They just must join that.
They just
Okay,
added this year, Clint Hawks.
yeah.
Carrie Redmond Hawks contacted me.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I circled it
Lisa.
right here.
Yeah,
So we have a group right here, you know.
And I'm telling you, Lisa is our biggest cheerleader. She is wonderful and is a great voice for Langsburg.
I do. I talk
We're
of
the
Langsburg
nonprofit
all the
community.
time. I
She
do.
does. She is a big, we've got a meeting tomorrow with all the nonprofits at DeVries Nature Conservancy, and we're gonna go over the next steps of what we need to do. We've got some banners that will be going up, so look for those. Lisa's very good about connecting with the school, and they're putting on their Signs.
Usually Matt
Raise up,
Jasper puts on all the
Shiawassee.
school signs right before Giving
Give where you
Tuesday.
live.
Oh, okay.
It's
Up
usually
on
our.
the
we
neon.
like to say.
Yeah, on the neon school signs, Mike, yes, he puts that up. They've done that the last several years. So there'll be signs out usually in the businesses. Are we gonna have those little signs to put in the windows again? Yeah,
They're
so,
like a yard sign. Got those. So if anybody's interested in learning more about that, let us know.
Okay, well, thank
Okay.
you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time.
Sorry,
Yep,
thanks
thank
so
you.
much.
no,
Good. That was important.
wow.
All right.
This is good.
Item number 4 on the agenda is approve the street closure for Winterfest.
So moved.
Second.
Motion in 2 seconds. Gail.
I motioned it. and Marcy was first.
I thought I heard it
I
over here
motioned.
too.
Oh, he
Yeah.
motioned, I seconded.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
Dave
3 of them.
seconded too. Yeah.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Do you want to hear from
Certainly.
They're
Yeah.
here
You have
today.
questions. It's the same for the closures. The parade is the same as the past 2 years, so.
And we've had no issues with it. Okay.
I like it. It's a
Seemed like it's
little
worked
longer.
out.
It's nice.
The city, the response that we've gotten from a lot of the attendees and the participants is that they really like the expanded route because a lot of people can stay in their car. They don't have to gather if they're worried about
Yep.
COVID or other diseases, but also there's so many more people that can see.
Yeah.
So we're very excited. We're hoping, we'll arrest the Grinch this year.
Oh, I'm staying home.
The darn
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions? If Not? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by aye. Motion carried to approve the street closure for Winterfest. Hope it's good weather.
We do too.
I'll be in an inflatable. It'll be warm.
Yeah.
Approve the 5K route and plan is the next step on number 5.
There were 2 proposed routes.
We went with version 2, though.
Yeah, we finalized one with Craig. He came in, we all talked to him, got it all figured out.
Okay, so there were 2 in here.
I thought there was only one route that I spelled out for you.
No, I got
in the
version, I
motion.
got version number 2.
In the motion,
Close
Alan,
Woodbury Road and Grand River Road to
there's like a
Doyle.
motion, 5K route. That's what we picked.
No, I saw that, I was saying it said version number 2, that's what. Okay.
Sorry, there was originally a version number 1 that took through town.
Okay, that's,
Looks like quite the route, so.
But
That'd
it's
be good for
basically close
5K.
Woodbury Road from Grand River
Sounds like a
Road
little
to
run.
Doyle and West Street from Grand River Road to North Oakland from 1:30 PM until the race is, oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the road closure for the race.
That's what we're on.
Yeah, so approximately 4 PM, McClintock Park will be used during the race. The race will start and end at the Langsburg Elementary School. The Langsburg Police Department will assist with traffic flow. And that's it completely. It's your route and everything and so forth. So, okay, now everybody knows where it's at.
I make a motion.
Wait a second.
Motion and a second. Discussion.
Does see any issues with it, Dan?
No, I went
Well, it's
over
good to
it,
me. Yeah.
Greg and Dave and Paula. and
Yeah.
I just wanted to
assume
keep it off from Grand River, so that's why we went with the other route.
Okay.
But it's close enough to town that we're trying to do this event because we want to really bring in tourism, especially like we were trying to come up with another way to bring in more people to our town to highlight the town. So it shows enough of the town that people can kind of get a good sense and they can see, and everything will be decorated for Winterfest anyway, the businesses that are participating in the decorating contest. So we're hoping that after the 5K that they'll stay and like shop and dine and do things. And then we also have it going through by the amphitheater, so we can highlight the amphitheater. And I suggested maybe to Gail that for a discussion, that maybe we could put a banner that just talks about the amphitheater things that are good, like the music in the park or something up there, so that people see it when they run it past. So
Sounds exciting.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else?
I appreciate that you guys took the time to come in here and talk
Yes.
about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
It takes confusion out of the picture. So,
we're hoping to have a shirt that'll have the Grinch being chased by a wolf pack, and then it'll say on the back, like I ran with the pack in Lynxburg. So on the front, it'll say, the LBCA 5K Grinch Run, so.
So will them be available to people that also, they're not running, but
Yeah.
just asking for a friend.
So you can
I
say
need more
I'm
now.
asking for me.
I don't know.
Buy
You'd
one of those now.
have to pick me up down the road a little bit.
So you can look like you're.
I'll be like that young man at the bottom of the hill.
See, we get a little rickshaw.
I'll have my little baby, I'll have my little Grinch with me.
All right. All those in favor then signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by aye. Motion carried to approve the 5K route and plan. Item number 6 is consider the approval of LSW 2023-24 budget, proposed budget.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This is just to approve of their budget as they wrote it. So, so is there any discussion beyond that? Motion to approve. Motion to approve. You had a second, right?
Yep, we already have that.
So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by aye. Motion approved. Approval of Halloween movie at McClintock Park.
What date are they looking at on the weekend?
Friday, October 28th.
It's gonna be
So it's
cold,
the
but I'm
Friday.
down.
The Friday. So someone approached me with the idea,
Is it gonna be on Zoom?
and I didn't think we'd be able to do it, but Paula was able to pull it together, and I think this is gonna be an awesome idea going forward too, because I think a lot of people like that focus movie.
They have a new
I
one that
know.
just came out too.
They
Second
know to
one.
bundle up. It's Michigan.
We can't afford that one.
No, I was gonna say the new one, I don't even think it's in the theaters
I
yet.
didn't think you could get it. can you?
I think it's
I'm
streaming.
kidding. That's why I said we can't afford that
They have a
one.
new Hocus Pocus, yeah. I think it's just streaming. I don't think it's available, the new one yet.
And I'm assuming that the city's paying for the movie, because that's what's being asked.
That's my suggestion is we can just use the park funds to pay for it.
That'd be good,
I mean,
too.
We have money in the park and rec
Right.
fund.
It's the
We
first
have
time
a,
shot.
we thought, we have a movie that was rained out this year. And we thought about, asking if we could just switch that, but they said it would be, I don't know, $280 or something to switch it. But that would just be a free movie in the summer, so we might as well pay for this one and not lose. So
Yeah,
Lose the
might as well
freebie.
try it,
that was our
see.
suggestion. We're just like, well, it's $465. It's not,
It would be a good way to start a fun holiday weekend.
yeah.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second,
We have a motion and a second to approve the cost of the movie for October 25th.
28th, it's the Friday
28th, okay.
before, if you could get your calendars like.
This is for most.
I
of
think
them.
it's the 28th, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay.
There's
So-
a calendar.
At 7:00.
So
Yeah.
that's what it's for, is the vote will be for spending $465 to show a movie that night, and it's not over 5, you want to roll them?
No.
Okay. Are we done with discussion? We've got everything else. All those in favor signify by saying now, aye.
Hi.
Those opposed by aye. I almost said those opposed, ouch. Okay.
You have to say whatever you tell us to say.
Yeah.
so.
We will the Halloween movie. Bills. We are paying bills.
I make a motion.
I second that, yeah. Let's do that.
We have a motion and a second to pay the bills. Any discussion? You get to do a roll call this time.
Redline,
Yes.
Rohrbach,
Yes.
Newcastle,
yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Judd,
Yeah.
Geisler,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes.
Oh,
Motion carried to pay the bills. The next step we have is committee reports. Okay, first one on top is police.
Start with planning.
Yeah, you'd love that, wouldn't you?
Okay, you have to explain the picture behind you. then.
Yeah.
We're gonna start.
So in my backyard, I got a new deck. No, I'm just kidding.
You're expecting, what is it, iron to come in? So,
Okay, police,
Police.
20 reports. You have patrol miles at 1,490 miles, 82 traffic stops, a big winner for tickets, is speed at 21, and second in line is 10 expired registrations.
Ridiculous to me.
Traffic warnings is 47, again 32 for speed being the top, and again second is expired registration. Dan, you want to talk about thing that happened up in Ovid?
One of the calls for service was in the report there, we had assisted Shiawassee County. Clinton County and Ovid and Elsie Police have been dealing with an individual who was on meth and believed that his wife had been kidnapped. Thought that these people were gonna go after his daughter, so he had grabbed a gun and some ammunition and headed towards the school. And once they got there, the individual, since he was a parent, had been left in the office. And then once dispatch got a hold of the office, they went into lockdown. Luckily, he didn't have a gun, but he did have ammunition in the truck. So he was arrested, and then Shiawassee County is looking at what charges they're going to present him.
the gift.
And we have one fugitive loose in the vicinity here, like it's Porky Pig.
Oh. Like, what?
Somebody's gonna slaughter him.
He just slipped away.
We all set there?
Well,
Thank you.
he didn't want to be named.
Gotta have some humor too. How about the library?
All right, so if you've noticed, the library is getting painted and it looks really
It looks
nice.
really
It
nice.
looks very nice.
Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
And then one of the people off the library board painted a cute little picture on the front. I don't know if you've seen it.
Took them a long time. I watched them all.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen it. I'll have to
Oh,
look.
you'll have to look. It's very good. We did participate in that kindergartners going around the different places like the police and different things at the library and showed them the library and how to get a library card and that sort of thing. Dean is helping with getting the silent auction going for Winterfest. And I guess in the month of October, we're looking at doing a Halloween story time. Also in the library.
Thank you.
Lot going on there as well.
Let's get at it. And that appears to be all the committee reports that we have. Did I miss anything?
No, DPW didn't meet,
Neither did planning.
DDA did not meet.
or finance. I showed up here.
So we're at
did?
transportation right now.
Yeah, so the category B grant that we applied for, we were not funded this year. It was a transportation grant for fiscal year 2023 construction. We had a lot of different maintenance, nothing like, not a big project, just maintenance, like crack sealing, chip sealing. That was it, that was in that, yeah. Because that's what this application is for, is local streets for that kind of work. But we did not get funded this year. That was a pretty big number. What they say, they had 113 applications that requested $19 million. And they only had 3 to give out. So.
They didn't contact the right group.
So-
Is that something that we put in for every year? Or is that a time?
We had, this is our third try at it, we've been funded once out of the 3 times. So,
Right, every grant we can.
right, so I mean, I'm sure we'll probably continue to try, but it's a 50% match, but if we're gonna spend 500,000 and we get 250, we were gonna spend the 500 anyway, so. What it does cost some money because, C2A helps us prepare these applications because of the maps and the things that we need to attach. There's some things I can't always do, so. But we do participate in the grant itself. So. And the last item there is the AMARS review. It's some acronym for assessing in Michigan and whatever. It's kind of like the audit for your assessor. So they come and check to make sure that our assessor is doing what she's supposed to be doing. And last month I had you guys fix a policy. There was a little blurb in there that assessor didn't like. So we fixed it ahead of time and then we got a 100% willing review. So all good there.
Nice.
Great. Thank you very much for the hard work.
I have something under other.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and do that?
Okay, under others, and I apologize for not getting to this sooner and trying to get it on the items of business. I have been extremely busy. I would like to see if the council would consider tax abatements for improvements in construction for a new buyer. In this regards, only structural issues, and it would be and construction to the property, similar to what the city did for Jimmy Conklin when he bought the gas station on East Grand River. And it would be for the properties on 108 and 100 East Grand River. It would be for new buyers only, and it would be strictly for construction and improvements to the property, which is what the city did for the gas station that Jimmy Conklin bought. And have council consider this. It might be what it would take to get a new buyer in there and to get a new restaurant open ASAP. Because there are some structural issues to the building. Well, the city's already done it. They did it.
I know, you're saying there's precedent, there's a precedence, but
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, there
Well,
is
we have
precedent.
we have an abatement policy and that should be reviewed to see if the project will qualify.
That's what I was asking.
So refer that back.
So can we refer that back to that then, to at least get the
If
ball
someone
rolling?
had
is what I'm
contacted me, I
trying.
would have been glad to have that ready.
I've been so
Can we
busy.
put that
I
on
wanted
next
to this week.
month's agenda and, I don't know.
But I mean, you have to have a specific project and an investment and, I mean, we entered into a development agreement. So I would think that if there was a serious buyer, they would bring us a plan and we would compare it to the development agreement that we have in the abatement policy. And I mean,
See where
we-
it falls in.
I mean, there would be no reason to, deny it if it fit the policy.
Right, absolutely.
So, I mean, I don't think that it's an ask that isn't something that would be available to any new construction or anything that fits into that policy. Just because we've only used it that one time, that was the first time we ever even attempted it, so. But there is a policy and, I can provide you the policies, but without a project and a dollar amount and
Right.
I mean, if it doesn't meet all of those qualifications, then I can't tell you whether or not it would qualify.
So basically what you're reiterating is we need some kind of plan for possibly the buyer of what they intend to do. and
If
see it
anybody's
falls in.
interested in the abatement, then they would look at our policy.
Right.
And understand that we have that on file and what would need to be done to fall within that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Does
Makes
to me.
perfect sense.
I mean, there's any building, any project, anything that fits within that abatement that the city council approved. There's a process that has to be followed.
Thank you.
Guidelines on
I meant to
that.
get to you this week. I just didn't have the time. I apologize.
Now, the only thing else I have is this piece of paper from about the tennis courts and pickleball. Is this just some information? You guys looking into that, or are we gonna apply for a grant? Just addressing it. I mean, I guess, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would go back to our park and rec plan, all of our plans, and it's like, do we want to amend our plan? Do we have pickleball in our plan? Is it something you guys want to look at? It's not gonna happen next week.
No,
And if we're applying for a grant, you're 2 years out. So, yeah, I mean, that's not gonna happen overnight, no matter what we do, but this particular subject continues to come up, pickleball. I don't think anyone is opposed to it. It's just that, we've talked before, sometimes we have to take care of what we have. So we have those tennis courts, right? We have the volleyball courts. Do we want to get rid of half a tennis court or one volleyball court? I mean, this is sort of, the reason we presented to you is because this person is continuing to ask for this
Right.
and uses, hey, we want to come to your town and play pickleball. We don't want to go to another town and play pickleball.
There's a lot of local people.
So then you have to look at it like, it does
it's
attract
a
people
community
in,
service.
but is it something you want to consider, and where does this process start and how do you get there?
I have to
just
say,
heard
there was a
about
lot
it,
of people
I've
playing
seen
even
it.
during the
Now
the
I've
music in
drifted.
the park, and I see a lot of people out there using that.
I don't know,
Um,
So are
Whether-
they using that more than
It's
when you
kinda-
say the tennis courts now?
kind of like big. ping pong.
They're about 50-50. A lot of these
Okay.
people do the
How do we
pickleball.
follow the
and
state?
the
Can we pass that?
And we
Oh,
have given
those are the
options, we have done
It's
some
like
meetings down
this is
there.
tennis, you know, it was much running this tennis.
They've gone so far as to tell us, just like the amphitheater, that we need to turn it. So, I mean, we are trying, and I know there's cracks down there, and the place I got the film from last year no longer carries it, so I've been in contact with a couple of people trying to figure out where to get it. So it's not,
When somebody
We
writes you and
haven't
says you should
attempted
change
it.
the direction of your tennis courts, and they're the opposite of the old tennis courts, which everyone complained were the wrong way. We did have this engineered, and we did go through a really long process, and we took in a lot of public comment, so I don't think that moving the tennis courts or switching the direction of them is gonna be like an easy feat. And you're looking at a long project, okay? But to put up some pickleball stuff is probably not a long project.
and the courts that are down there, the nets are lowerable, because they're shorter for pickleball, and we did have lines painted.
So you basically got it set up so they
It's
can
like
play.
tennis,
It's
but
just that it's a situation where it's got some issues. Slowly but surely trying to work them out, and the only way you're gonna work them out is over time. It's not gonna be.
Dollars.
Yeah,
Right.
and you're not gonna go in there and bulldoze everything up.
Well, we
change it.
do have 2 volleyball pits. Could one of those be converted? Because, one of them really, is,
Yeah, now that the kids are back playing in school, the one doesn't get used.
right. The one gets used, we do have good use, but the other one, we're not taking care of, well, because it's not as used as much, and so it gets grassed over. And so, there's options, but I think that, the Park and Rec Committee or the DPW committee, somebody needs to,
To jump into it. And
and then we also need to look at, how you're gonna fund it, if you want to change your plan, if, I bring up a river access project that's been on the table for 10 years, and all of a sudden that was just crazy idea. So I'm just saying pickleball is,
Well, we're trying to
River
accommodate,
access,
bring
all that.
people in.
So if I'm reading this right, though, these people are asking us to work on it because there's a lot of cracks in there.
Well,
Which one?
and that's why I said he couldn't
Yeah.
get the stuff to fill the cracks, the
Okay,
good stuff.
Okay.
They still.
we
working.
do need to, we do need to take care of what's there.
Correct,
Yeah.
we are trying to maintain it, I'm just having a hard time finding the material to do it.
Okay.
I can't resist, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Can you play pickleball in a car wash?
Maybe.
Never know.
That's racquetball.
Oh, racquetball.
I don't know, that's pretty expensive, sport in that one there,
That's right.
Yeah.
for the price tag on that.
If you want to see Owasso Bentley Park, they just converted a tennis court into 2 pickleball things. And I know several people that play pickleball, and it is a big popular thing
It's the
now.
trend.
Yeah, and they travel all over and they play these tournaments, and they're looking to try to find another space to add like some pickleballs and stuff too, courts, but that one, they did just take a regular tennis court and they somehow converted it into 2 courts, so that at least that they can play there.
They would.
You know, there's a lot of people with health issues around Lanesburg that are playing pickleball.
And we
It's
don't,
great
we
that
don't
they
do
mention
that.
going to other towns at this meeting. We like people stay in lanes.
Shame.
You go look at it, and then you're like, okay, we could do that. And well, last time we did Weisberg, so we'll just copy them and just make ours look just like that, only better.
That's right, they love our skate park.
And I have been to other towns, that's where we got the idea to paint the line. and
That Jeff
do
Davis
what-
Right.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll keep the process going on it.
Well, I guess what, you know,
Where
if
do
they,
we want to send it?
yeah, I mean,
Planning
do you guys
Commission,
want
to
us to
Parks
work
and
on it?
Rec?
Probably both.
What is it you want, you know? Do you want-
Planning commission look at it and refer it to Parks and Rec and they get an idea what they can do with it. and Get some input from Lark and go from there.
That's
I'm not
fine.
sure we really have Lark anymore.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that we actually, I mean, we've sent emails out, we get no responses, so, I mean, I don't really think.
So everybody that was involved, that just totally, it just died right off? Really?
Read the email.
I would suggest to send it to planning and to Parks and Rec. Go planning
When we
first
can
and see if
email
there's a
them.
need or what they can do. And then
There
go
ought to
from
be
there.
some kind of interaction between the two of them and decide where to go with it.
As you say, it's a long-term project, so it can be discussed a little bit at a time.
I mean, if
fill
there's
in
something we
what
can
needs
do,
gotta
and I
be.
know that Dave's been trying to do some short-term fixes, but.
Sounds like it's a long-term conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Sure.
probably been a year.
I'm sure pickleball's gonna drop off in the winter time anyway.
Chief, do you have anything else to say?
I got a couple things reference to LSW. Since we did raise the pay for the paramedics and the EMTs, we have another month fully staffed. So we're doing good on that. Call volume is up. I think last month they were on 46 different medical calls. So the calls for service are there. The second is Dan Morgan's funeral will be Thursday. So there'll be a lot of attendance for that. And the third item is the individual that was the deputy chief resigned. And I am now the deputy chief for LSW.
Broader shoulders. Thank you for taking that. It is,
We had a really busy month for LSW. There was 48 fire calls, right, for the rescue.
yeah, I know, and every time I
46
get up in the morning, I hear that whistle.
Well, it's not even winter yet.
No.
Can I
You
ask
know.
a question about that? So where are we in the realm of the other townships or whatever?
Last month I went to Scioto's. Scioto approved it. Wednesday I go to Woodhull's meeting and present it to their board there
Okay,
Wednesday.
okay.
At
And
this
if those
point,
two do it, then we don't,
well, we just did it.
okay.
But I mean, we just approved it.
The
and
budget, no, I meant the,
The
We have to
ambulance
vote
fee.
on it.
Well, it's the
I
same
was talking
thing
about
with
the ambulance.
approving the budget, right?
Right. But again, that budget was approved, then you guys determine, the city determines how is it paid. Is it paid through general fund or is it?
that's what I was asking. like,
So
the-
we just approved that budget that
Yeah.
includes that increase.
Right,
So we, in essence, approved the increase.
yeah, I was more talking, there was some talk about that if the townships agreed,
How
then
it's
how we were gonna do it, that's what I was.
Well,
asking.
the agreement is with 3 identities.
She knows. She
So with
understands.
2, if they say yes, it doesn't matter. The third one has to.
Right, that's why I was asking, right, so we knew where we stood.
Right.
Yeah, Scioto already approved it, correct?
So if the other one goes.
Well, I, like Jeff, would like to encourage everyone to get out and vote, also to pick your candidates for all that have served that may not be coming back. We appreciate everything you've done, and for those that may come in for the first time, we'll be glad to see new faces as well. But we have one gentleman that is leaving us, and that's Mr. Fred Line. He's been guessing all night how long he actually been on city council, but I tell you what, the records don't lie. And so I'd like to present you with us from the city of Langsburg, a certificate of appreciation for
19
19
years.
years.
Wow.
19 years.
Oh my God, I should have left 5 years ago.
I knew you kept saying 15 years, 12 years, and I'm going, Brian, you came on right after I did, a year
Well,
later.
It seems like just yesterday.
Yeah, oh boy. On that note, I bet you've got a German in
No,
there.
you haven't got to my others yet.
Oh, I asked you, you said that's all I had.
No.
Oh, you got a big surprise
I
coming.
do, yeah. So I was just giving you guys a little update on what we got going on. We did get some scores back on the river access grant. It was like 230 points out of 500, so it was kind of low, but we had an opportunity to like send back supplemental information. So we got all that turned in on Friday, and I mean, if they give us everything we're asking for, we are gonna be really close to 500 points probably, but
Wow.
around 300 you get funded. So, but we feel like they didn't give us 50 points for being in a like a metropolitan area, but the 2020 census map says we are. So, you know, I mean, we aren't like in the hub, but we are in like a big picture of that. So, and the other thing was that they don't call us a part of the trail, but right on their own website, it says we're part of the Grand River Trail. So
Yeah, the old Grand River
You
Trail.
pointed that out for us.
I sure did.
Okay.
So, yeah, we got that turned in. I've been helping the American Legion with a grant for their parking lot. They're looking for funding to redo their parking lot, so I've been kind of working with them a little bit. We have a current match on Main that we're still trying to work through, and then we're ready for a new round of funding. I've had a couple of businesses that are interested in it, so I know, you know, if somebody bought Boondocks, they would be able to, you know, apply for $25,000 to get started, to put money in it. So I talked to Alan a little bit about that. I did meet with the MEDC and spoke specifically about how we need like another restaurant, bar, place for people to eat, you know. And one of the things, since, you know, you brought it up already, we're just gonna lay it out there. So that they have a program, because we're RRC certified, that they could maybe help us with some funding to package Boondocks, talk about what other things are available in Langsberg, and they would pay for like a commercial realtor like package, so that we could actually kind of like just try and funnel people to there to get it bought and open back up as a restaurant. You know, I mean, obviously, we're not gonna get them working on it to open it up as a lawyer's office. We want it to be a restaurant, a bar, you know. So that is an option. I got it on my list to get a hold of Alan or his realtor and see, you know, what we can find out, so we can package that. And then, you know, they can set up meet and greets and try and get people that they know that want to open a restaurant to hook up with that building. So I think that, you know, we all kind of in our discussions felt like it's really a number one priority to get that open back up for Langsberg, you know. So I kind of hope you all agree that we should be working in that direction. So that's what we're looking at. Daystar bought a building downtown.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, and they're just gonna like run their computer stuff out of there, but they're renting the space to a hair salon.
That's what
Yep.
yeah, right across the street from the clothesline, yeah.
Yep,
That's
I
what I
mean, and that's what it
I
was.
did too, Marcy, I thought.
So,
I see the for sale sign come down and people painting it and doing other stuff.
Yeah.
so I put those two together and it worked out great because they didn't need the space, you know, and we didn't need just computers sitting in that corner building. So that seemed to work out good. I hope it works out for them both. But Daystar is wanting to start doing some work and maybe some boring, and they're gonna need, yeah, so we're probably gonna, you know, be looking at permits and drive, you know, stuff like that. So right away permits. We also have the election coming up. Everybody knows, all the candidates that are on the ballot have actually turned in paperwork and are, you know, no one is backed out. Everything is the same.
That's what I was wondering if I may backed out, because I'm hearing scuttlebutt that I backed out and I started laughing.
Nope, everybody that's on there is still a valid candidate, so, just so you know, we just sent out the sewer bills and unfortunately they had today as the due date on them, so if you hear anything,
Nice.
we made a little bit of a mistake in the office there.
Yeah, it took me 15 minutes not to call the ambulance when I opened it. 10 sewer bills.
And then we do need some people for Board of, Review and Board of Appeals. So, because we do have a variety of, building and zoning issues out there and, you know,
Remember,
some,
certain people can't do it.
and some people may end up at the, you know, zoning Board of Appeals and we're one person short right now. So, but after the election, you know, we may have to relook at that, whoever's on what, because, you know, we can't have two people from council on there, so. If anybody has anybody that wants to join our team for these, that would be great, so.
And border review isn't like a lot of time either.
Can I add to the
You keep-
business?
2 days.
There is another business that bought the building down there on the other side
Oh,
of what
yep,
you were talking about.
Yep, she
And
was.
and I
another-
sent her your way.
Yep, I've been talking to her, and I've introduced her to the Match on Main.
Yes.
She is also interested in maybe getting a DDA facade grant, so
Mm-hmm.
she wants to paint, so.
Where's that at? Is that around the corner right there?
Totally Toys.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And what's it
Okay.
going to be?
Fitness.
A wellness reform or? reform?
Pilates,
Yeah.
Oh,
and she's
Oh,
got,
nice. I'm very excited.
and she's got massage ready. It sounded like when she was in here
Seriously?
today.
Oh,
Oh.
so when Janae left, like there was zip out.
Yeah,
remember?
so, and I talked to Rosemary a little bit about today. She was super excited. She said the people that visit her, you know,
Oh, that's
would love to see
awesome.
another place to eat and drink and the massage thing.
Yeah.
So
Alcohol and a massage. Sounds good.
if you're in Mexico, you can get both.
Hot shots and massage parlors.
Yeah.
Hot shots and massage parlor.
I'm sure I forgot something, but that's what I got going on right now.
Yeah, well, you'll have the rumor going on there. That's for sure.
Do you have any advice for us?
Don't run for reelection.
I will tell you that
He doesn't get the whole thing, just a piece of the middle.
when I started out,
Yes, over and.
the meetings were at least 2.5 hours long because nobody would ever make a motion, second it, and go to discussion.
really?
So if I've done anything, now everybody's yelling, so moved, support. Let's move the meeting along. So yeah, that's my contribution.
When I first started, the meetings were until 10,
Yeah.
sometimes 10 o'clock, sometimes
So in
midnight.
saying that, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
The last council meeting I watched, is I watched it out from that door before I was on the board. And I watched a gentleman climb over that seat right there, over the table.